amazing hackers? Hope you're all doing well today. I want to talk today a little bit about OSCP, getting a job, and pen testing. We'll see how far we'll get because, of course, it takes a long time to, let me see, add a speaker. It takes a long time to cover these subjects thoroughly, which I really want to go into. And of course, we can put up another Twitter space later on for some other things. Hello, Mr. Inatello. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. I'm good, Uncle. Great to be here. Thank you again for your space, and I've been learning a lot lately from you. So I'm glad you made this one. And well, I wanted to talk about my journey and all. So I've been into infosec and pen testing for almost 2 years, and well, I've been enjoying it. Going for my first certification, the PNPT. I don't know if you guys heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
Practical network pen tester. But I only have one issue because I'm not American, but I'm currently in America, so I've been really, really struggling to find job because I heard it's not something easy when you're a foreigner. So I'm kind of stuck in there, but I'm still pursuing my dream, and I like computers. I love the command line and all that. So any advice from anybody would be appreciated. Just to keep my head up and keep looking for hunting for jobs and all that.
That's really good. Thank you very much for sharing that. I'll get started with the getting a
Yeah.
job part then, because that might be most interesting. So my first tip is to put yourself out there, to make a blog, to make a YouTube channel, to make like a lot of tweets about things that you learn. It's really important that you learn things to other people
Yeah.
that you're learning yourself. I don't know if you're doing that.
Well, about the blog, I was about to start, about my active box journey, the write-ups and all that. But I'm trying to land my certification first, and then from there, I think I'll start the blogs and maybe a YouTube channel as well. That sounds like pretty much interesting too.
Yeah, because like you can talk about your experiences getting the certification. A lot of people are
Yeah.
interested in that. When I was getting my OSCP, I always wanted to know what people were doing and how they were getting through it, and all of that information was very useful for me.
All
And
right.
the second tip I have is to stand out in at least one area. You should have at least one thing, and I know that it's hard to be proud of something from yourself, but you should have at
Yeah.
least one thing that makes you extremely proud of yourself, because if you're proud of that thing, you can talk about it like it's the end of the world, you know what I mean?
I feel you. Like being passionate about just that one thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly. And of course you can have interests in other things, but that passion that should really show, and you should be looking for jobs as well. That you shouldn't be going for McDonald's flipping burgers if you really want to do something else, of course. It's as simple as that. And
All right.
the next thing I want to say is show understanding, show real practical experience. And I know that's hard, and
Mhm.
I know that I've put out like a pen testing package that costs like 25 euros, where you can get the whole experience with a guided intro and all of that stuff. But the thing
Right.
is, I also have free labs on pen testing. And those pen testing labs, you should try to make a report on them and a test plan so you can have something to talk about. It's like, oh, if somebody interviews you, they want to know, have you done this for real? Is this something? And feel free to send it over to me. I'll be happy to get you feedback on that as well. Um,
Okay.
Definitely not a problem. So show real understanding of the process and how it works. That's something very important, I think. And the next thing I think is also important is purple team over red team. I think a lot of developers or a lot of companies are picking developers that are also hackers or hackers that are also developers. I think that has something to do with it as well. Um,
Yeah, that really, really would sound great for me because I have a bachelor degree in software development. So I mainly go with Java, the community version, enterprise edition, but it just I've been so much into the security stuff that I didn't get much, I didn't practice much of my development skills. So I think that's will really, really do it. Like, programming and pen testing both together. Yeah, that can work for me because they don't want foreigner as a red teamer because of, security clearance and all that. But yeah, this just what you said. Yeah, man, you've been helping. Just yeah, I'm taking notes actually of everything you're saying right now. So expect me to come back to you, Uncle.
Make a blog out of that. There's your
All
first
right.
blog post.
Yeah, we'll do for sure.
Hello, Mr. Carson. How are you doing, my friend?
Fantastic. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
I was actually going to say, so I'm going to be graduating college come next year, this time December. And right now I'm kind of in that point of looking for internships right now. But like the biggest thing that's always kind of concerning to me, it's just like, what do they expect from you? What kind of knowledge do they expect? And a lot of it too, I feel like when they require some sort of work experience, I feel like I only know the fundamentals of security and stuff like that. And just once I get into that internship, I feel like that's when I'll really get that hands-on work experience.
Yeah, that internship, getting that first one is really hard, right? And knowing what they expect from you. For a pen tester, basically they expect you to be open-minded, to learn a lot, and to show that as well, to be like, hey, I know I'm an intern, I'm humble, I know I don't know a lot, but I know you guys have a lot to teach me, so I'd be happy to, if you guys give me a chance, grow with your company. That's what they're looking for mostly. And also, if it comes to technical knowledge, it's usually gonna be how are your vulnerability knowledges? Like, oh, hey, OWASP top 10. Can you name me something from the OWASP top 10? Doesn't matter which one. Things like that, because companies, they put value on those things. It's OWASP top 10 is a highly respected organization, and those things are gonna be very valuable to you. The rest they're probably gonna explain to you on the job, but again, it never hurts to go through a pen testing experience and to just look up, okay, what am I gonna do for my for my pen testing experience? I'll get to that later as well, but real quick, for a pen test, there's a lot of documentation. That's something you have to look up. What documentation do I need? Scope, what does it matter? What scope do I pick? How do I pick a scope? Test plan. Test plan is super important because of course test planning, if you don't do it properly, you're not gonna get results. Your client also has to approve of your test plan, your test report, and your test debriefing. So if you look up those things, then you already have a good structure of how a pen test is supposed to go. And sorry about that doorbell, by the way. Anyway, thanks for that. I really appreciate that. That's a great question. I hope that helped a little bit.
Yeah, definitely so. Because right now for me, there's not too many pen testing internships that I've been able to find. A lot of it's just kind of security analyst internships. Ultimately, my end goal, I'd love to be able to get into the pen testing industry at some point and have that be my career path. But I'm most likely going to have to start off with some sort of security analyst job or internship or some sort of security compliance job. But I mean, I'll be graduating with a degree in cybersecurity and also be getting a software development certification along with what else? Security Plus certification that the school will pay for, thankfully, and be able to hopefully pass that come next semester.
That's awesome. Congratulations on that. That's something very important already. By the way, I think cybersecurity degrees are kind of a scam because you can't really learn everything into a degree. But of course, I know their general idea and I know their general concepts, and I
Oh,
appreciate what they're trying to
I
do.
definitely agree with you on that. From my experience so far, it's been real hit or miss with the classes. Some classes have been phenomenal, but other classes have just been terrible. Like I had a cloud computing and virtualization class where every single week, it was an 8-week class online. Every single week it was a paper, a quiz, and a discussion. no hands-on experience, no labs, no nothing.
Oh
But
god.
damn, do I know sure a hell of a lot about SLAs now.
We need at least 99.99% uptime or we're suing you. Remember that. Sorry.
Depending on the tier that it's in.
Thank you very much. Hello, Mr. I think you wallpaper. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Can you guys hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, perfectly.
Yeah. So I I I, I would like to bring this up that pen testing knowledge is surely good for red teaming, and of course that's a career thing. But it can also be used as a blue teamer. Like if you know how the stuff can be broken, then you will be like you'll be more able to make sure that it doesn't get broken, right? So that's one thing I would like to discuss. Second is you discussed the programming languages. So how much those programming languages actually contribute in the OSCP part, like, and then what kind of like server-side programming would it be, like exploit programming, like I've seen books like Python for pen testers, and how much that contribute in the overall goal of pen testers, and how much you should be good at it. Thanks.
That's a great question. So quickly, my feedback on that as of languages, Bash scripting. Basically, Bash and Python or Ruby. You can pick whatever you want. But just basic. You really don't need to write script from here to Tokyo. What you need to understand is that if a script says this is a Windows command, you need to be able to change it with a Linux command. For example, those kinds of things. Hello, Mr. Sam. How are you doing?
Good, good. Hello, Mr. Rat. I just wanted to say thank you for organizing this Twitter Spaces, and of course, as an OWASP guy, I'm a OWASP London chapter leader from the UK. Just wanted to comment on your response to Carson about interview questions, and as a security consultant, security architect myself, I do interview people, and of course, one of the questions is which is being asked during the interviews, of course, about OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities. And what I want to say is not just actually to talk about them, Carson, I hope this is useful for you, but very important to explain the risk and explain both the technical risk and the business risk. I think this is where a lot of people have weakness because they say, okay, there's a process scripting, and they can basically tell what happens. But a lot of people say, oh, there's like a red box popping up on the website. But how do I explain a business person what is the actual risk to their business? So I think that's a very important thing to take away. Another thing is you are graduating and you will be moving into the business world. Of course, the recommendation is to be active on Twitter, create a GitHub profile, publish things on GitHub, have your own blog, publish things on blog, just like Wesley here at the thexssrat is doing. Have a YouTube channel if you would like to, if you know something. So I think there's a saying, the best thing to learn something to actually to teach it. So just like thexssrat is doing by publishing lots of courses, if you want to learn a particular concept, something that you're really passionate about, a particular vulnerability maybe, a particular operating system, or a particular use case where you found something good and you were really proud of yourself, record the video, publish it on YouTube. And that will make sure that you have visibility. And another very important thing that many people who are trying to get jobs are ignoring, but it's very important. There is a social network for business, and that's LinkedIn. So it's very important for you to have a LinkedIn profile and basically put your experience there because that's the mini CV that a lot of recruiters are going to be looking at. And if you put penetration testing skills there, people will notice you. That's it from me.
You're gonna laugh when I say this, but my number 7 for getting a job was LinkedIn. Make it shine. Like the amount of headhunters that react to my LinkedIn is incredible. Thank you very much for your contribution. I really appreciate that because that's what I like about the OWASP vulnerability categories as well. They really they talk about business risk, they talk about technical risk, and the thing is, don't don't learn those things out of the top of your head. Don't learn them from memory, but understand them and explain them in your own words. That's something that's very important to me. Because if somebody just rattles off what they have read somewhere, that's different than actually, like you say, being able to understand something. That comes back to my OSCP point. Somewhere really funny. I wrote down a couple of things. I'll get into them right now. So my study tips, rubber duck method. Rubber duck method is basically where you take a rubber duck and you start talking to it. And it's debugging method, I know, but it also helps me visualize that dumb person that I shouldn't call them dumb. I should call them that person that doesn't have that technical knowledge that I have. And I sort of stole it from there, but I kind of use it. And I don't have an actual rubber duck come sitting on my desk, though some people can, of course. I just explain it to my 3-year-old, and I know she doesn't understand it still, but I do my best. Someday she will understand it and she will hack the world. By the way, great work what you're doing at OSCP. Big fan of it. Sorry, OSCP. OWASP. My God, it's late. Um, the other things I wrote down is, like you say, just teach what you learn to others. That's gonna help you learn what you already know. It's like, hey, I know this, but how am I gonna explain this to somebody who doesn't know it, or even to somebody who knows it? Because teaching takes a whole another skill level of understanding. And if you can't explain it, you just don't understand it. If I'm asking you explain me CSRF vulnerabilities and you can't, you just don't understand them properly, in my opinion. And the thing is, like, you may be a genius at CSRF, you may be finding CSRF vulnerabilities left and right, but if you can't understand what it means to a business person, the chances of getting a job, they decrease. That's just a fact. Now, one thing I also wrote down is repeat, 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 repeat. Keep on repeating. Like, if you're learning, if you want to learn something, for me, it's super important to repeat something at least a few times. And that's why I divide my time and I reserve my time. It's like, oh, I'm gonna do 4 hours on this day, 4 hours on this day, 4 hours on this day. And I actually plan out time slots where I'm going to study properly and I'm going to learn from OSCP. And then when I've divided them, then I can actually remove all of my distractions and I can break things down and actually explain them in my own words. Now, another thing I wanted to say is get yourself an OSCP buddy. An OSCP buddy is just somebody who's also doing OSCP who has done OSCP, who's there for you during their breaks. Because, of course, you can contact people, you can talk to people during your breaks. It's just not about the exam. Don't do that. It's not good and you're gonna lose your OSCP. It's as simple as that. But if you can talk about, hey, I don't feel good, I'm feeling really, really low, having somebody to just spit your mind to is a great thing for me. It really helps. So thanks a lot for your contribution, Sam. I really appreciate it. One thing I wanted to come back on is the getting a job part. Certificates, as much as I hate it, certificates matter. Getting a certificate matters. It makes you stand out, and especially if you're still in school and your school offers certificates, that's even better because you can get maybe a scholarship program or something like that. And I'd like to say hello to Mr. Black Panther. How are you doing?
Hi, Wesley.
Hello, how are
Uh,
you?
I am fine. I am very proud and happy that I got this chance to talk to you in a live session. It's really an honor because I you helped me a lot during my bug hunting journey. And because of your work and your job and your videos and your posts, I was able to land a job
Yeah, fuck yeah.
as a system
Let's go.
administrator.
Good job, man.
And it's like my story. First, I would like to apologize because English is not my native language. So excuse me, guys. Like, I started by doing by taking some Cisco security courses and try hack me, and taught myself basic Python and JavaScript, and then I did a course at Google. It's called Google IT Support, and I finished that course, and then I went into the interview process with a lot of companies. It's like I just started my IT journey like 7 or 8 months. In 8 months, I was able to land a job. So it's like because and I wanted to share my story because a lot of people have been asking questions. How could I get into cybersecurity and this and that? But the knowledge and the advices you, Wesley, and other cybersecurity experts on Twitter and on YouTube, it's like the key to get a job. Like not only a job, but to start like to get knowledge. Is like it's free knowledge. It's like people don't appreciate this information, but it's possible. Like it's really it's like those videos and those posts and those tweets. It's like they are 100% real, like real for real. And I consider myself like I don't know anything. It's like until now I am I'm struggling. Like sometimes I had this feeling that I don't know anything. It's like I'm struggling with this imposter syndrome, they call it. But I go back and revise all what I've learned and at my work there, at my job as a system administrator. I have a place like and work colleagues who are very informative, and they've been with me since I've got this job. So I would like to encourage anyone, like just to watch those videos, tweets, buy those courses, like 10. I don't know how much they cost on Udemy, but they worth. Like they really worth, and they could be your key into get into cybersecurity or whatever field you want to work in. So thank you, man. Thank you, man. I'm like, and I'm coming to you, and I'm coming to your courses, man. It's like, thank you, man.
I should be thanking you. It's like you're thanking me, but I should be thanking every single one of you guys because it's been my, like, ever since I was young, and this may sound cliche, but I was dreaming about helping people, and the fact that you guys allow me to do that and give me a platform to speak is something I can only appreciate, like, really from the heart. So thank you so much for everything that you guys do for me. And as for when it comes to applying that knowledge, That's not my doing. You guys are doing that. I'm not typing those letters into the keyboard. You guys are. And that's something that you should be proud of for yourself as well. Like just be proud that you're doing so well and that you did that. It's amazing. I'm proud of you. Good job on landing that job, man. Really good job.
Thank you. It's like a message I would like share my. I wanted to share my experience and my journey, and I hope if someone I want people just to be positive and start doing or chasing their dreams because everything is possible. And I am the life example. As I mentioned before, I don't consider myself a hacker, but yeah, but we will see.
I
Thank you,
still
man.
like I don't consider myself a hacker either. Like I've been in this field for 2 years and I still don't consider myself a hacker and I don't think I will until ever maybe. It's just something like you say that imposter syndrome that hits hard. But then I remember, like you say, what I've done, all of the things that I've learned, all of the things that I've studied up to this point. And I might not, like, I've studied the OWASP top 10. And if you ask me right now, OWASP top 10, give me a number A6. I couldn't answer you, but that knowledge is in my head and it's super useful because I use it on a daily basis. It's like, oh, I'm pen testing, OWASP top 10, gonna see what it is, I'm gonna follow that, blah blah blah. I have my pen testing notes, I have my methodology. That is super important. And that brings me to my next point a little bit, which is networking. Like getting to know other people which are in the same boat as you really helps a lot. Going to conferences, I know that's a little bit harder with Corona and all of that, but going to live events, that's a great way of getting to know new people. And LinkedIn again, just networking, super, super important. The very first job I got is because my dad is a construction worker and he was building something for somebody who had a big office center and they hired me. So that was my first job.
Now, it's a funny thing. It's like once another thing I would like to mention, and it was like as I started to get into programming and do those courses, without I'm not kidding. I'm just like sharing what my experience. Like it's like the universe is is like um, um, putting people or programmers. I don't know, but it's something. It's very strange happened. It's like literally, I got the chance to learn to know like more than 12, 12, 12 persons, and all of them like were software engineers or network engineers or security engineers, and it's a very funny and interesting story. It's like I don't know how to explain it, but I think how we think shapes somehow our reality. So that's why I would like um, I would like to suggest to give an advice to people to like think positively, because what you think is how you will become.
That's definitely true. That's something I've been trying to do as well. Like just, and even if you don't want to think positively, after 7 days it will go naturally. You'll start thinking positive naturally if you just force yourself to every time that you're thinking negatively, start thinking positively. And it's not easy. I know it's hard, really, really hard, but it helps so, so much. And like I wanted to ask, do you have any certifications?
I don't have any certification. I don't have a degree. I don't have. It's like as I mentioned before. I only have some try hack me certification. Like I think I finished the junior penetration tester path
Mm-hmm.
and some cybersecurity certification, an introduction into cybersecurity certificate, and Google IT support. And it was an intensive course. It took me like 3 months to finish it, and I passed the last exam, and I got my certificate. And then like I don't know, but I don't have any degree. I don't have a college degree, so it's like for those people, I think there was a guy who's studying cyber security at the university, and he mentioned that he's looking looking to get certification to get more certifications. My advice to him would be like applying like for whether internships or like part-time jobs. Like he's ready. I think he's like the guy is ready. He's supposed like immediately just apply and look for jobs because I'm talking here. By the way, I'm here in Germany, and I'm not a German. I'm a foreigner here in Germany, and but above all that, I made it. Like it's not impossible. So my advice to people: please be positive, do the work, and just like and get go and get your chance. Like we have everything is there. So on internet for free, or if it's not free, it's still like someone can pay for it. It's not expensive. So the resources are there. People like you, Wesley, are there.
Yeah, like
So,
just don't buy a $4,000 course. Do yourself a favor.
exactly. I didn't want to mention that. Because it's like I don't think like 4,000.
Yeah,
It's just too much money. Like really for real. I would like rather than I don't know. Start learning by doing. Like
because like
maybe start like get courses from Udemy for 20, 30, I don't know.
the thing,
And then like build a lab,
that is
penetration
like
testing lab.
that's the exact mentality you need to have. You need to go on Udemy and buy a $20 course because I saw this $4,000 Burp Suite course and my heart nearly dropped because like it was like 4,000 euros to learn Burp Suite. Come on, and those marketing techniques that they use, they're so effective. I get it, but I know my audience is smarter than to get that. I know my audience looks at that and says, "What's going on here? That doesn't feel right." But
Yeah. Some the thing is like some services like you have the feeling like it's a kind of a scam. It's like I started like doing some bug hunt, some bug hunting without Burp Suite, and I was able like to find some bugs, but I wrote a very bad report, so I didn't get anything from those from reporting them. I think like doing it, looking for bugs like manually would be the key, because you have to identify those bugs like manually and then test them like manually. You don't need a 400 at the beginning. I don't think you need a $400
Well, it's
to
like,
spend on or 4,000 for a course. I don't think it's a good way to start learning. It would be a very bad investment. I would if it on me, I would start with low budget, and from there I would see if I see any improvements, then I would like invest more money. But
yeah. But by that time, you won't need to anymore because you know how to research things, know how things work.
exactly, and that what happened to me is like I know what I should do, and thanks to like try hack me, the good guys at try hack me, like this website is like, this platform is amazing, man. It's like it's a
Oh
it's
yeah.
a gold it's a gold mine.
I
People
love it.
should like start like just doing the practical part and like get hands on and this kind of experience.
Yeah, and in so many different areas as well. It's not like just one, like, my labs, they're all based on web application tags. But TryHackMe is so diverse, and it's really, I love it. I really love it. I would recommend it to anybody who was asking. Um, like,
Uh,
talking
And
about,
lastly, I want to continue one of the points you started talking about, which
of
is
course.
networking, and again how important it is for InfoSec industry. And of course, we're currently in the pandemic situation, right? And there aren't that many real life events. Hopefully, they will be back, but there are lots of seminars, conferences, real life when pandemic is over. But at the moment, this is all happening online as well, and there are lots of communities. And of course, one thing about OWASP is not just the organization which created the list of top 10 most critical web application vulnerabilities. It is first and foremost a community which operates through chapters. And there's a local chapter. There's a group of people somewhere near you, wherever you are, whether you are in America, in Africa, in Europe, in Asia. And if you just Google for OWASP and the name of your city, pretty sure you will find a city chapter near you. And in real life, these people will be meeting. There will be seminars several times a year. There will be invited speakers where you can go and learn. And most importantly, ask live questions after the talks, after the presentation. And the same thing will happen in the online as well, because currently all of us chapters, they're having their meetings online on Zoom or on YouTube. Go to OWASP.org and chapters and find your geographical area and find your local chapter. And what is important is going to be your local community of like-minded people who are interested in cybersecurity and application security and penetration testing and Internet of Things, cloud security. And when pandemic is over, you can go and meet with these guys and girls, and you can then go and join other groups as well. So it's not just OWASP. And going back to OWASP and how we can help you find jobs as well, because it's a community. Our meetings aren't sponsored by big vendors in cybersecurity who are all looking to fill the information security vacancies. So when you go and attend a meeting, whether it's online or in person, there will be sponsors there who will be talking about what kind of vacancies they have. But there's one other thing that we have at OWASP, because we have a Slack. And in our Slack, we have a jobs channel. So OWASP Slack is absolutely free. You can just go and sign up. Just go on Google for OWASP Slack. And if you join the jobs channel, that is where very big names in the industry are posting their job vacancies in application security and penetration testing, for security analysts, for incident response, and you can just go and join it and see how many big companies, there are companies like Uber, for example, like Facebook, like Cisco, Also, lots of big organizations who are posting their vacancies there. And of course, you can also on other channels, you can also talk to other people who are also learning, like, and you will network with them virtually. Another place where you can network virtually is Discord channels. Right? Don't forget about Discord. And of course, Wesley, the thexssrat, he runs his own Discord server. So do make sure that you join that one as well, because that's the place where you can continue talking to other people and networking with others.
Yeah, and like, do it to talk to each other. Like, don't do it to talk to me. Do it to talk to each other. Because of course, I can give you advice. I can help you. But there's so many good people in this industry that know a lot more than me. So just talking to each other helps a lot in that aspect. Um, Thanks a lot for that feedback. I really appreciate it. That was very useful. So just to repeat real quick, if you want, you can go to the OWASP Slack channel, and there's this jobs channel in there that you can join. And some very big names in the industry will be posting jobs there. I'll be posting a link in the description of the video on YouTube as well, so look out for that. Um, Next thing I wanted to talk about is the battery problem. Now, I want you to imagine if you're studying, you carry a big backpack on you. This backpack has, um, it has a lot of like a battery in it. Your battery is full when you start studying, 100% battery. As you study, it goes lower and lower and lower and lower and lower until you reach zero. How long do you think it takes before your battery level reaches zero? Anybody got an idea who would like to speak? Because the answer might surprise you. Well, I'll tell you, it's 30 minutes. So you have 30 minutes of full attention, and then you slowly start declining until about 10-15 minutes later, your batteries are completely gone. And the thing about that is, after 45 minutes, you really need that 5 minute break, that 10-minute break. You really need that break to relax a little bit, to chill. It's super, super important because if you study and if you keep studying in that downtime where your battery is at 0%, it's actually counterproductive. You're gonna start forgetting things because you're just reading over them, skimming over them, and not really taking them into your brain. So that's something that also, I don't know if you guys have any opinions on that. By the way, welcome Dark. How are you doing, my friend? I'd say feel free to speak if you'd like. Welcome in any way. Come over to the light side. We have cookies. They say the dark side has cookies, but they're not good cookies. They're the raisin kind of cookies, and we have the chocolate chip kind. So you make your decisions, not me. That's all I'm saying about that. Um, Also, really important OSCP study tip: pace yourself. Hello, Dark. How are you doing?
I can't talk.
Awesome. Yes, I can't hear you. I can hear you now.
Wait, you can?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Wait, were you able to hear me before or like just now?
No, just now.
All right. Yeah, because it doesn't show up. It just says listener, so I was confused.
All right.
So,
Yeah, I was hacking the
my
system.
question,
Sorry.
yeah, my question was, what's your personal like experience before the OSCP? Like, what did you know before going in, and how long did it take you to prepare?
Before I went into OSCP, I had general IT experience, but no hacking experience. So I was a software test engineer. As I had ISTQB technical test analyst. I had a new load expert certification. I had those testing certifications, so I knew how programs worked from the inside out. I was a programmer as well, but I went into it basically blind for the rest, and I I went in and I did no preparation because I don't like to go into courses doing preparation. I think a course should teach everything. I don't think a course should require you to prepare unless, let's say, it's an advanced course. Yes, of course, then you need to know the basics first. That's really important. So I dove deep into it, and that's basically how I got through my OSCP. I hope
I
that.
have some experience with CTFs, and I got like a lot of vouchers for the OSCP and the PWK course. So I thought it would be like a good opportunity to take, but I don't have a lot of time. So do you think that aside from Hack the Box, do you think that VulnHub is like a good investment? And how long, if you used VulnHub, how long did it take you to prepare?
So after my lab time ran out, I used VulnHub for about like 30 days, and I just used it to practice a little bit more on my privilege escalation. But I mostly used Hack the Box on the retired machines. That's what I was practicing because there's DJ Null made an awesome list on OSCP machines which are in Hack the Box OSCP like machines, and that's basically what I followed. But I like Phone Hub. I would definitely recommend it. You just have to find the good boxes, and you're gonna have to do some googling, like OSCP Phone Hub good boxes or something like that. And I think Brian also has some experience on this. So Brian, if you want and if you can, feel free to add yourself as a speaker. But that's kind of my experience with that.
So, do you think that a lot of content that was in the exam, did the majority of it pop up in the labs that were offered by offensive security themselves, or did you learn more with HDB and VulnHub?
For me, everything was in the course, but it's more like you have this, like a reverse shell, a 2-minute video about reverse shells, and then they expect you to look deeper into it yourself. Here's Nmap. Okay, now you look deeper into Nmap. I don't know what your experience with that is, Brian.
Oh, sorry. Greetings and salutations. Can everyone hear me?
Great having you here, my friend.
Thank you, thank you. For me, my experience, I got more of a feel on what I would be expecting when I was on that offensive security proving grounds. Really, because when I took my exam and failed it, I looked at the other vendors like Try Hack Me and then the proving grounds and stuff. And when I started going through a lot of their play machines, which are actually based off of VulnHub machines too, I kind of got a little bit like a similar, not the same, but similar feeling of machines that I had to test on my exam.
Agree. Totally agree with that. Like, I've looked at the playing grounds and they seem very similar to what you can expect on that exam. Thanks a lot for those questions, Dark. If you have any more, feel free to ask them. Hello, Mr. Amersat. Sorry if I say that wrong. How are you doing?
Hello, everyone. Do you hear me?
Yes, excellent.
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you. I would like to thank everyone in this room. Actually, I'm. Let me introduce myself. I'm a network security engineer with a little experience in the offensive part of cybersecurity. So lately, I started to join cybersecurity communities and offensive pen test communities to grab some info about. Actually, I'm preparing for OCP in the next year, That's why I'm here, and I'm so happy of multiple experience exchanging between everybody in this room.
Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you being here. It's not when I did my OSCP, I was scared to death. I'm not gonna lie, that was one of the toughest exams I ever did, and I still get the chills when I think about it. So it would have helped me greatly to have something like this back then. Hello, Milo. How are you doing?
Hi guys. Yeah, I'm doing good. You?
I'm doing great, thank you. Just had chicken.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. So I'm really enjoying this space, and I don't have any questions right now, but just want to say thank you, both you and Brian. I've started my ethical hacking course with you, and I'm preparing for my OSCP as well. I'm kind of cramming that. So yeah, I just want to thank you for the great content and for everything that you do for us. We really appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm like super humbled by that. Like, I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much for that.
You're awesome. I laugh so hard while I watch your videos, but I do learn stuff. I just gotta go back a bit sometimes. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for everything that you do, both of you.
That's the secret.
Sorry for my rant. I tend to do that on each of my videos and stuff to keep them fun.
You should. You should. That's what makes you unique. I love them. Yeah, it's perfect.
It's why it's how he makes you rewatch the videos, and I said repeat, repeat, repeat. Well, Brian does that in an excellent way.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good tactic, though. I never thought about it like that, but great. Yeah.
Thank you very much for grabbing the course. I really appreciate that. And like I think we tried to make it a preparation for OSCP, but not only that, we included everything. We included API testing, we included mobile testing, we included I'm gonna include IoT testing. It's gonna be one of the most comprehensive guides on the internet. So the first part we try to mark what's OSCP related and what's not, just so you don't get confused and think, oh, OSCP is this huge thing. No, 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 that's not true. That's RSCP. That's the RAT certification. So
Yeah, it's awesome. And you still have like all of that knowledge left. Like it's not only OSCP; it prepares you for the actual real world, like ethical hacking. So yeah, it's awesome. Good job.
definitely, thank you. Really appreciate it. And like it's an honor to work with Brian as well. Like I said, he really knows his stuff, and I think it's like a shame because Brian also has a YouTube channel. You guys should go check it out. His videos are really funny, and he tries to bring humor into every single one of them, with great visuals as well. It's not just hey, this is how this works, but he brings in some memes, some visuals. I really like that about his work. So you guys should definitely go check him out. Um, so what I was when I started OSCP or when I went into OSCP, I was wondering the same thing. Is there a course that is OSCP related that's gonna teach me what I need to know for OSCP? And I went on Udemy and there was like a bunch of nonsense available. So I was like, I'm gonna dive straight in. That was a big mistake, by the way, because I had to spend 8 hours per day learning in the weekend and 4 hours per day learning during the week. That during 3 months of time. Plus, I had 10 full 8 hour days that I also took for studying. It's no joke. That's something I just wanted to say. It's Mr. Amar. You don't have to. You can speak, my friend. Don't worry about it.
Thank you, my friend. I just have a little question, please. As I'm preparing to my OSP now, actually my guide is the offensive pen testing path on TryHackMe. As it contains some hands-on experience along with the theoretical knowledge. I'd like to ask if it's when you follow one kind of path, you miss some other aspects, and OCP lately updated 2 times in 2020, and by next February, I think that the exam will be changed and updated, adding some Active Directory modules. So, is there any recommendations or some roadmap, some reference to follow after OCP update, or we have to wait till the exam gets stable? This is my question. Thank you.
Great question. Go ahead, Brian.
I was gonna say, are you talking about like boxes that are like Active Directory for the new changes on the OSCP, right?
Actually, I didn't buy the official material yet for OCP, but I'm trying to grab Active Directory rooms from TryHackMe, like attacking Kerberos and Active Directory machines, which is some basic idea about Active Directory, not that deep knowledge that OCP module contains. Actually, Active Directory modules in OCP, I think it's like 40% of the course itself. So, and after every update, they adding more modules about Active Directory attacks.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they do have like a couple rooms in there. I was gonna do a video on that hollow. I was gonna do like a 1-a-day module on that thing. That's one of the things I would definitely check out too.
Yeah, like that's a great room, and there's one called Attactive Directory. I like that one as well. I don't know if you've done that, but that's a great one.
Yeah, I have completed like 60% of this room. Yeah, and I like the idea of Active Directory. It's actually more interesting than web application pen testing and something that, for me at least. Okay, but the thing if I was preparing for OCP in 2020 and things gone with COVID-19 and something, and then my colleagues and my friends told me to wait until to see after the exam got updated if everything is going well or not. So that's now I'm waiting. We are going to 2022 in a couple of days, and still not certified OCP. That's why I'm asking. And I'm not going to like postpone it more than that. That's what I mean.
Yeah, don't worry too much about that. Like if you just do a few TryHackMe rooms, like the Active Directory and the one that Brian talked about, you'll be good, because what you want to achieve mostly is getting a touch on the subjects that they're going to talk about later on in the course. You just want to know a little bit about them. But I'll get back into that later a little bit. Hello, Mr. E. Let's see, I have to click your names. E Miracle. How are you doing?
Not too bad, and thank you for holding this. I'm actually relatively new to cybersecurity, and I'm really enjoying your courses that I found on Udemy. So thank you for those. And I do want to look for your OSCP course now that I know you have one, though I don't think it's on Udemy, because I think I would have seen it or even earlier today. But I guess I'm working my way towards Security Plus and Pentest Plus, as well as the EJPT and the ECPPT, as well as the PNPT course, which does have Active Directory stuff in it. And so basically, I guess I'm trying to come from I'm a background of an engineering technologist, and I'm learning all these things, and thankfully a bunch of stuff happened this week, literally. So I've got signed up for like 9 courses or something like that, like an insane amount, to try and bring up my knowledge in the next 2-3 months, whatever I can push myself to, or roughly 3 months, so I can push myself to get as quickly as possible. But regardless, I mean, with that, and then with your course, once I find it, with that, you think that would be enough to prepare someone to take OSCP who hasn't been doing it for years?
Well, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think our ethical hacking guide
You're wrong.
alone is.
Kidding. Go ahead.
Sorry?
No, I was kidding. Go ahead. What were you saying?
It's gonna be like that. Oh, okay. Let me ban you real quick. That's just good. No, it's like I think our ethical hacking guide, and I don't want to boast too much, but I think it's enough for OSCP, to be honest.
I agree on that. Because I am going to be adding some more content to
Yep.
put on to it for like the small stuff. But we really put a lot of work into trying to point out the little things, because I went through some, actually a whole bunch of like courses or whatever for OSCP prep and all this other stuff, and then found that there was stunk like hot garbage, because like they would always like miss these small details that I would spend like days banging my head against the wall with. So we did notice a lot of like those questions that like normally get asked, and we put those answers in the course, which I think is fairly solid, because we pretty much have like a lot of stuff in it that there's great content, as well as stuff that answers a lot of questions too.
Yeah, and of course we're kind of touting our own horn here, but other people have said it as well, and it's pretty acclaimed right now. It's the Ethical Hacking Guide A to Z, and it's not on Udemy indeed yet because we were finishing it off first. But like Brian said, I still want to add some more details. I'm not content with some of the content that's in there, like the passive information gathering. I've asked Noor to write a new article on that because I just didn't think it was complete enough, and that's something we wanted to give you is we start all the way from the very basics, from what is networking, what is an HTTP request, what is an HTTP method, what is a URL built out of. We start from those very basics, and then we take you on to the more advanced stuff like Nmap and how to use it and getting a foothold and all of that stuff. Though I have to admit that we've not included a whole lot of foothold scenarios. We've included some foothold scenarios, I think two, but we didn't, at least that wasn't my intention, to be very comprehensive. I talked about all of the things that I would use as privilege escalation, and I think Brian did the same thing as well, but we didn't build too many labs on that yet because of course like labs are very expensive to run, and especially if we're talking about things like Active Directory labs, because then I need 3 machines running for every participant or for every group of participants, and that's not something that it's not possible at the moment. There might be a possibility later on if I start working with Docker some more, but right now almost all of the labs in the, and that's something that our course has as well, as every single section has a lab and a quiz attached to it. And then Brian and I made some excellent quizzes to help you, because we make you go back into the PDFs, and we make you go back and read it again, or at least parts of it, which we think is important. So I'm sorry if we were touting our own horn a little bit there, but I do think it's quite enough if you combine all of that. I hope that answers your question.
It does, and thank you for that. And I guess, although I didn't necessarily hashtag you because I can't remember if you're on LinkedIn or not, but I actually threw a shout out to you today with having done with my 79 days straight that I can prove of Try Hack Me and Duolingo and Udemy, and so I actually threw up my the course that you gave me congratulations for over about a week ago or something like that up there today, just because I wanted so people realize I'm still out there and doing stuff and trying to still also get my name not lost in the algorithms. But so if you look me up, I'm there. And also I got my name because I'm a magician, just so you know.
Awesome. That's really cool. And again, thanks a lot for buying those courses on Udemy. It's just that I don't prefer Udemy as a platform. I know most people prefer having their courses on the same platform, but Udemy is kind of screwing me over in a big way. You know, I do a lot of giveaways, and they limited the giveaways to 1,000 giveaways per free coupon. And 1,000 is just not enough. We had tens of thousands of students join sometimes for a free coupon, so I'm like, come on, Udemy, what are you doing?
Well, where can you get this new course that you're talking about too? Because I've been trying to keep up with you on Twitter and that, and apparently maybe I'm just not quick enough.
It's our, I'll tweet it out right now because it's on sale for 75% off for another 6 hours or so. But that course, yeah, sorry, I tweet so much. I do a lot of shit posting and it's not really that good. But yeah, let me, if I can find it. I haven't tweeted about it in a while. Is it this one? Anyway, I'll tweet it, and then my latest tweet will be about that specific course, and you can grab it because I think it will be definitely what we're trying to aim at is this being the last course you need for ethical hacking. That's kind of what we're trying to do here. Trying to make such a complete collection that you don't really need any other courses anymore, and it's just everything in one place so that you don't have to go looking in 60 different places for the same thing. Let's see.
That's awesome to hear, by the way. Though I do believe the AGPT and the PNPT will help me as well.
Definitely.
As well as the other courses, I think will help lead me to getting the knowledge I need as quickly as I need to get it.
Yeah, for sure. That's something that's like a lot of people look down on those certificates, but I don't really look down on any certificate in the sense that it's like you got it and it's definitely gonna help you. There's no doubt about it. Like you have that certificate now, it's gonna help you. It's as simple as that. And
Totally support you with this, Wesley, because a lot of people think, oh, I need to achieve OSCP certification because it's going to help me to get a job. And I'd say this is wrong. This is wrong approach. You don't do certifications because they help you to get a job. You do certifications because these are milestones that you need to achieve. They're like black belts in karate. That's what should your mentality be. Because in our industry in cybersecurity, you never ever stop learning. You cannot say, "Oh, I'm just going to need to pass this exam and that's it. I'm a cybersecurity expert." No, no one is expert here. We are learning new things every single day because attackers are inventing new methods daily, and we need to defend. We need to move with it. That's why the more certifications you get under your belt, the more black belts you have, the more knowledge you have. And yes, HR departments of some companies will look at your certifications because they look at some evidence of you being eager to learn new things. That's how you should approach certifications, but not as well, I need to study for an exam, I'll pass an exam and I get the job. No, that's a wrong approach in the cybersecurity industry. You have to think of it as a black belt in karate. Just achieve the next belt and then move on to the next milestone.
definitely, and like you say, it's all about just achieving that next level and going step by step. And I want you to make your steps as small as humanly possible because you don't want to make the major step that I did from zero to OSCP and then fail and then think to yourself, oh, I can't do this anyway, so I'm not gonna do it anymore. It's much better to take a little step in between and make sure that you have everything that you need in order and then go for those other certificates if you still want and need them and possibly even get your new employer to pay for them. That's the ideal situation, of course, if you can get your employer to pay for your certifications. But it's much more important to get your employer to pay for trainings and for good trainings like Udemy for Business, where you can get a lot of courses for in the same package. Things like that. EC Council is coming out with or already has their Code Red platform, which, by the way, this is news for most of you guys. But I'll probably be going to the I'll probably be working with EC Council to create some courses for them. They already want 3 of my courses for licensing and a 4th course which I'm gonna try and create from scratch. So that's a new one for you guys. I hope that it's gonna go well. I think it's gonna go well because those guys, it's been my dream to write for them one day. It's not gonna be cybersecurity related JMeter, so not cybersecurity related to a degree, because I still think JMeter can be very useful performance testing tools. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about is, since we have someone from a OWASP chapter in here, is explaining things clearly, because I think it's very important and you guys do a great job at that. You guys make a very concise OWASP top 10, OWASP API top 10, but I think it's still very hard for a lot of people to comprehend. And I can't put my finger on what it is exactly, but I think that for some reason a lot of people still have a lot of trouble reading the OWASP top 10. Is there any way we can contribute to it by making pull requests or something like that?
Yes, of course you can. The important thing about OWASP, that O stands for open. So it's all our projects, including OWASP Top 10, they all open source and they all welcome collaboration. Everything is on GitHub. So even our latest OWASP Top 10 2021, which was released actually a couple of months ago, in October, it was also open to contribution. It was open to comment. And it was on GitHub, and people submitting lots of comments through GitHub issues, through pull requests, and they were all taken into account. I get your point about the text being clear. I think we received actually quite a good feedback for this year's OWASP Top 10, saying that it's actually a little bit better than the previous ones. That's because a lot of people submitted text corrections as well. So it's not necessarily a technical contribution. It could be just a simple, like, let's make this phrase clear. And of course, another thing how you can contribute to open source, including OWASP, is just by providing, for example, translations. If you speak another language, for example, you don't have to go and invent an OWASP top 11, right? Or you can help OWASP and help open source and help your local community. People speaking in your native language by just providing a translation of OWASP projects, including OWASP top 10. So it is all open to answer the question, Andre.
Awesome, that's really cool. And guys, don't bring any of that hate into my space, saying that you shouldn't translate hacking articles, that English is the hacking language. That's gatekeeping, that's BS. We're not gonna do that here. I think it's very important to translate articles into your maternal language. So if you want to do that, I'm definitely gonna make a pull request soon, because I've also rewritten the OWASP top 10 in my own words for a course that I've made. And I'm definitely gonna make a pull request. So if anybody else feels like it, you're more than welcome. I would really appreciate it. Like the OWASP top 10, like you said, in 2021, it's a lot clearer already. It's a lot more concise. There's a lot less text in there. So the descriptions, they're a lot more clear to understand. I really appreciate that. And I think what a lot of people need to understand as well is that OWASP Top X is a vulnerability category. It's not specifically a vulnerability. It's not cross-site scripting. It can be, but it's more like injections instead of cross-site scripting. And a lot of people don't really understand that. They think that it's like, oh, if I go for the OWASP top 10, then I will know all of the vulnerability types that are out there and all of that. But it's you have to take the category, then look at the CWEs and the CVEs that are connected to it. That's very important if you want to look at what's what. Correct me if I'm wrong, by the way. It's great that I have somebody from OSCP here, because everybody makes mistakes. Sorry, OSCP. You see, I just made a mistake. Somebody from OWASP. Oh my, God, I really need
No problem at all. No problem at all, Wesley. And of course, you are absolutely right. If you look at OWASP Top 10, it is a list of top 10 most critical types of vulnerabilities. There are more than 10 vulnerabilities out there in the world. And of course, if you look at OWASP Top 10, which existed for the past 20 years, if you go and compare, for example, OWASP Top 10 2003, 2007, 2013, you will see the changes in there, but you will also see that the actual changes are very, well, there aren't that many big changes there. So the injection is still there, for example, right? And it's very important to understand what it is and explain it in business terms, or in your case, it's how to explain it in simple terms to people who are new to this. So this is where we really appreciate your work. And of course, myself, like many people are listening to the space who learned from your training courses on Udemy and YouTube, it's very important to explain things in clear terms. So yeah, definitely there are more than 10 vulnerabilities, more than 10 categories of vulnerabilities. Some of them come and go. The top 10 is determined based on the data, on the prevalence that OWASP collects from people who have vulnerability data. For example, from bug bounty platforms such as HackerOne, it collects them from web application firewall vendors, it collects them from people who make vulnerability scanners, from people who make, for example, Burp Scanner, from Swigger, from as many, so including organizations, you know, that some big organizations like I know IBM, like Boeing, who will happily contribute vulnerabilities that they are seeing in their organizations. So that is how OWASP Top 10 data is compiled. And also, as I mentioned, the world of cybersecurity and the world of IT is moving all the time. This is why the vulnerabilities in OWASP Top 10 are not exactly the same when we release them every 3 years. For example, CSRF, right, cross-site request forgery, that what you mentioned earlier, is no longer in the OWASP Top 10. Same thing with open redirects, no longer in OWASP Top 10. That doesn't mean this category no longer exists. It means that it is no longer prevalent. For example, for cross-site request forgery, there are so many frameworks now, for example, inside Node.js, which actually make it very difficult for someone to create a web application with cross-site request forgery in it. That is why it is now dropping, so it's not as prevalent. Same thing with open redirects. There's now lots of frameworks which provide automated protection from it. So same thing if you look at any other vulnerability, but for example, if you look at the SSRF, right, server-side request forgery, which is now in the OWASP Top 10, it is now prevalent because we've seen lots of big breaches, like for example, Capital One breach, again, because things like cloud platforms like AWS and Azure, they didn't exist, and people were not exploiting SSRF. And now, because the world of IT changed, we have cloud, we have Kubernetes, right? This is why vulnerability like SSRF or vulnerability category like SSRF appears in the list. So that is why it is not a final list. So you need to be prepared to learn that it is a category, and it's very important to understand the category of vulnerability and explain the actual risk, not how to fix it. I once interviewed someone, and I was talking about OWASP Top 10 and asking them about particular vulnerability, and I think I was asking about something like SQL injection, for example. And the candidate, he could explain to me how to fix SQL injection, because he knew exactly what to do to remediate it inside application code. But he had no idea, he couldn't explain to me what was the actual business risk of that vulnerability. What is the actual business risk of SQL injection? What is the actual business risk of cross-site request forgery? What is the risk? Yes, it is a category of vulnerability, but what can attackers actually do, and how can they impact your business, your organization? That is what's important to explain.
For sure, I totally agree with that. And also, like the vulnerability top 10, it's important that there's to know that there's CWEs connected to it, which are common common, I forgot what it stands for, but
Common weakness enumerations.
weakness enumerations, yes. And you should read those as well. And if you really want a good testing guide, you should look up the Web Security Testing Guide from OWASP. They have a really version 4.1. It's a really good list of things that you can actually test for. And the same thing if you're a developer and if you want to secure your code, look up secure coding guides on OWASP. They will help you with that. It's so important to know that it's open source and that information in there is built by the community, not just by the people at OWASP. That's and the people at OWASP, as far as I know, are mostly volunteers as well. So I would like to.
We are. There are a lot of people who don't understand what OWASP is. OWASP is a non-profit. It's a charity, and it only has 7 full-time staff members. Everybody else is a volunteer. And there are over, I think, 100,000 volunteers all around the world who are contributing to open source projects. So everything's free in open source, not just OWASP Top 10. There are lots of other projects, tools, documentation, books. And Wesley, since you mentioned testing guide, I would like to also highlight not just the web testing, but also mobile testing, because at OWASP, we have a group of volunteers who created a mobile security testing guide, which provides absolutely amazing information how to pen test iOS and Android applications, for example.
Exactly. Like, what the heck are you guys doing storing my repositories with crappy information? Go start this repository. That's much more useful. Go start. Go watch it. You guys are funny.
Oops. Sorry, I have another question for you about your course that you just. Thank you for reattaching it. By the way, I'm looking at the format in that. And is there any special programs I need to be able to run it once I buy it?
You can Burp Suite, OWASP Zap. Those are things that are going to be useful. Nmap as well, of course, some specific tools that are specific to pen testing. But we tell you how to install everything and how it works, so it shouldn't be that big of a problem. You just need like a laptop that's, or at least a virtual machine. That's something that's required. But
okay, yeah, I've never seen Podia before. That's why I'm asking.
Podia, no, Podia is just like Udemy, but it's like everybody who buys the course on Podia right now gets a free Udemy code as well when it releases. So that's why I hate Udemy's policy. It's like people who buy my course, I can't even give the same course to them on Udemy for free. What the heck is this? Anyway, for Podia, it's just like if there's a video, you get a video player in the browser. If there's a text, you get a text in the browser. You downloadable files, you get a link. So there's no special tools you need.
Thank you.
Thank you for that question. I really appreciate it. I love it when people ask me about my courses because that gives me a chance to make free advertisement about that stuff. And this is what I'm very, very proud of because I worked really hard on it with Brian, and the effort that Brian and I put in is, I think, unmatched. Let's see. Hello, Mr. Because sorry, I'm also recording this, Mr. Undercat. How are you doing?
Hello, guys. Good evening. I was thinking about what Sam said about OWASP and what we were talking about, and I'm truly grateful for OWASP Top 10. I work as a full-time pen tester, and many times when I'm writing my report to my clients, I always reference OWASP and its guide. So the new OWASP added 2021, I think it's one of the best because many times I think that what people struggle with, how can I select a category and put the vulnerability that I found in it. Many times it's difficult, especially when you are a junior pen tester. So now that we have CWEs, it's way easier to just find a vulnerability that is mapped there and fits the category. So I think it's amazing. Another thing is what Sam was talking about the risks and the risk management part of the pen tester job, and I think it's truly on point because many times I enter calls with my clients and all they want to know is which vulnerabilities represent a greater risk to my company, to my business. So it's really important for a pen tester to rank it and to show the value of your job by explaining and knowing how to mitigate these vulnerabilities, by showing you have knowledge about it, by writing a good report. So many times I went to the, I think it's cheat sheet from OWASP to mitigating vulnerabilities. I don't remember exactly the name of it, but it's one of the best resources. And I found the clients that I've linked it to found it truly useful. So I'm truly thankful for that. And I think that the last point that I wanted to talk about is no, I think that's all.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that.
Thanks for mentioning OWASP cheat sheets. That's another underrated resource, but it's absolutely amazing and it's absolutely great collection. It's basically done in documentation format, and there's information on far more vulnerabilities than just 10. And it also talks about things like how to do authentication securely, how to do authorization security. So it mentions the risks, it gives examples. And again, just like everything else at OWASP, this is open source, and it's a live GitHub repo connected to OWASP cheat sheets. If you've never seen them, go and check them out. And of course, as Andikat mentioned, it's very helpful when you're writing your penetration testing report to help you to explain the actual risk to the customer, because the clearer you explain the risk, the better the report is going to be. And of course, another thing that you need to cross-reference, not just the CWEs, which is of course a standard by the US government and the NIST, but also another OWASP project which is ASVS, that's Application Security Verification Standard, because what's going to happen, business is going to say, okay, how do I remediate the vulnerabilities? How can I make sure that we are secure? And say, well, you have to use something which is a standard. And a lot of people are mistaken because they think OWASP Top 10 is a standard or some sort of compliance thing. It is not. It's just an awareness document. The actual standard is ASVS. It's Application Security Verification Standard. And for mobile applications, there's a mobile version of mobile ASVS. And the mobile application security verification standard is also very useful if you're doing mobile app pen testing, because this is what you can recommend to your clients for whom you're performing penetration testing. Say, look, this is the standard, you give it to your developers. If they follow the standards, you will achieve a better degree of security. You will improve your security further compared with the current situation.
Definitely. And sorry
to interrupt you.
No, go ahead, my friend. Definitely.
The last point that I wanted to talk about that I just remembered, it's about the OWASP book that I think it's WTS something, WTSG. I don't know if I'm talking about it right, but there is the guide that OWASP has, and what I think that it's truly interesting about it is that over the years, as I was consulting it, I noticed that the way that they talk about that changed a lot. In the beginning, it was a guide for penetration testers to to find a way, a checklist. I really by the name it was truly a guide for pen testing, but nowadays I see it more of a guide for application security in a way that many developers can read it and understand it and apply the content that there is and their own application. So I think that this change it's amazing because in the end, all open testers are almost QA in a sense that we try to assure the security of our clients by testing the quality of their applications. But if their applications are built upon a security standard, it won't be easy for a pen tester to go there and mess it around.
Definitely, and like make sure that you understand like this is something that OWASP offers as well. OWASP offers mod security and the mod security core rule set. Just try to install that on a VPS. Just give it a whirl, give it a shot, and that way you can understand WAFs better. You can make you can actually advise your client, hey, your WAF rule isn't correct or something like that. Those things are also very important to know. And I'm glad that even if even for all of the developers here, if you're looking for a decent security, a decent WAF, then mod security with the core rule set is definitely a great start. And you can add your own rules as well. It's really easy to add rules to that. So I'll make a video on that soon.
Yes, so there's one thing about OWASP core rule set, Wesley, hot off the press, literally a few days ago. There's a new service called OWASP CRS Sandbox has been released, and that is basically a cloud-based service which is open to everyone, where you can test your payloads against OWASP CRS. So you can actually see if you send a particular payload, which OWASP CRS rules would be triggered by that payload, and it's very useful. Again, you can actually use it for bypassing the web application firewall as well, because you can craft a payload and see if any rules are triggering. If not, and you can ensure that you actually created a payload which it will deliver an exploit and vulnerability, then that congratulations, you found a WAF bypass. But again, because it is an open source, we will invite you to contribute back to OWASP CRS and open a pull request with your suggestion to add a new rule to our core rule set. So it's a brand new service. You can go and Google it, OWASP CRS Sandbox.
Let me do that right now, and I'll send a tweet out. OWASP CRS Sandbox. I love that. That's amazing. That's really, really cool. By the way, I hate that Google puts so much adverts. If I Google OWASP, it's like people buy OWASP as a search term to put advertisements over it. I hate that they're making so much profit off that name. Just a quick intermezzo. Yeah, I'll tweet about that because I really like the core rule set, and I've installed it on a WAF on a server myself just to see how it works and just to see how a WAF filters things out, what it does with the traffic. Does it give an alert? Does it give it a deny? It's just so interesting to see. And like, okay, what if I want to change the cross-site scripting rule set? Well, it's really easy to just look into it, and I know that the installation guide says hard, but for a hacker like you guys, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. It's not that hard. Anyway, um, that I will also list the OWASP cheat sheets because there is a great PDF about that on the website as well. By the way, if you guys are ever interested in that, This is a great piece of OWASP as well. OWASP.org/www-pdf-archive. All of the different PDFs that OWASP has released are in there, and my god, guys, there's a really good list of them. If you ever need a PDF like a cheat sheet, you can just Control F cheat sheet. Cheat sheet, work impressions, checklist for design. There's cloud top 10 security risks. This is awesome. I really love this feature. I'll tweet about it as well. So anyway, what I wanted to talk about as a finisher is pen testing itself, because pen testing can be quite a strange occurrence in that it's not all about the testing itself. It used to be that pen testers could sit in their basement and could work from there and never have to see a client ever in their life, but that time is over, because you need to convince your client that you're trustworthy. You're an ethical hacker. How am I gonna trust a hacker if they're not even trustworthy? That's something that's very important to me. That communication, documentation, scoping, test plan, all of those stuff. Hello, Mr. John. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. And yourself?
I'm doing good, thank you. For a moment there, I was worried you were John McAfee, but thank God you're not.
Coming back to say AV's hard.
I can attest to that. Thank you for that input. Just kidding. How are you doing, my friend? You feeling okay?
Oh, doing good. Oh yeah, the long week, of course, with the whole Log4j. But I got a tweet with the link with the CRS I could pin up. If you're good with that.
Oh yeah, of course, definitely. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, always happy to see those projects like growing and thriving. Like, yeah.
Yeah, definitely something like open source project like this, where like a lot of these people are putting in their time, where it's their time, it's their free time that they're putting into this besides their day job. It's like,
yeah,
can only support that, right?
And Zap already came out with a Log4j scanner, and that was like 48 hours after it started really blowing up. They made a custom scanner against it. It's like, oh, sweet.
Yeah, and it's like there's so many things out there that are vulnerable to Log4j, but it's okay in the sense that like as long as people are on it, I guess it's kind of okay. But what people need to understand is that Log4j is not fully understood yet. It's like, yeah, it's mostly understood, but there's still things being found out about it. Like just today, an article came out where there was a correction for the Log4j issue. You could turn on a property. It turns out that turning on that property might not make you invulnerable at all. It might still give you issues. So you really have to upgrade to the latest version. And I'm glad they have a version which is protected for now. But like I said, the Log4j is not fully understood yet. Like how do you explain a header performing that kind of damage? It's insane.
How they had any like post processing that had external like activity and execution on a log system? Like, yeah.
Exactly. And I get that Log4j is becoming this gigantic monster of a machine, but it's still important to like these things. The bigger those projects get, the easier they are to oversee, of course.
But like you said, the payloads are still evolving. Like we're seeing like droppers, and I'm still waiting to see one that encodes the payload into the request itself and deserializes from its own request. And it's like, oh, Turing completeness.
Yeah, definitely. Like we had a big issue about Log4j at work as well. The thing was, people were like saying, we use Log4j, but it's on a private server, so it's not a problem. I'm like, has obscurity ever worked for anybody?
Some data moves between systems.
Yeah, like, have you ever heard about that? It's like maybe an internal system, but yeah, that header can be sent along from somewhere. And for me, it's the Log4j. It's a really interesting vulnerability coming out because it still shows that even in very mature software, vulnerabilities can exist and will exist. And you should never shy away from trying to test things because just a stupid example, my car is an electric car. I can crash it. I'm not joking. I can crash the onboard computer and I don't have to do much, and that's dangerous. Like, I've been on the highway where I've accidentally crashed the highway computer. I didn't see how fast I was driving, and I was like, what the hell is going on right now? So I'm 100% convinced there's at least one vulnerability in there still. It's stupid. You guys all know Roblox. Roblox is a game where you can create your own games. And I found the cross-site scripting in it's very old, that project, where you could actually insert cross-site scripting attack in the web, and then if you opened it in the world editor in the desktop, it would pop up. It's like, yeah, those things are old, but they still have issues in them, and quite a lot. And it's a strange two-part way of vulnerabilities, because you have on one hand all the vulnerabilities still getting detected, and on the other hand you have newer technologies coming out like Node.js, like AngularJS, Vue.js, Flutter, blah blah blah. All of those things are very good, but they're coming out at a rate which is we can't keep up with that as security researchers. There's black hats who have much more time to investigate this stuff than us. So I hope it's like a kind of a rat race where we can actually find, as ethical hackers, some of the things before other hackers find them. But I still do believe that a lot of CSTI research is being done, a lot of cross-site scripting research is being done by people like Albino Wax from Burp Suite. That guy is freaking amazing, by the way. If he is ever in a stream, I'm gonna fangirl really hard. But those people, they are still doing research, and I really appreciate that. Um, anyway, I don't know if anybody has anything to add to that, because we've been talking about quite a lot of topics today. We've had OSCP, we've had OWASP, we've had getting a job, we've had pen tests for a little bit, and if not, then I'm just gonna go into the last part of a pen test, and in a pen test, that's for me is a report. I'm gonna tell you guys what I would write in a report and how I would write it down, because it's very important. Write down everything. Low vulnerability, doesn't matter. Write it down. Your client might want to know about it. Okay, that's first part. Then, of course, you put in a header. Who are you? Who's your company? Logo, etc. Of course, you say your attack method. It can be OWASP Web Security Testing Guide. Good enough. Can be an explanation of what you're doing. Also good enough. Depends on what you want. It's your report. Findings. Findings need to have a title, description, steps to reproduce, cleanup steps, and steps you undertook to remain control after the vulnerability might be fixed, like creating a root account, for example. And then you need a conclusion as well. That conclusion needs some recommendations, a summary of what you found in your pen test. You can put that summary right after your header as well, of course. And then a risk rating of how you would rate the risk of the application being under attack. An appendix can be your scan results, can be a vocabulary, a glossary, can be anything you want, but that's what I would put in a test report. That's the report. Before you get to report, you need to do execution. Before you can do execution, you need to do planning, of course. And in the planning, we have, for me, what I would always put in there, a test plan is, let me get my pages right, because I write everything down, of course. And they say paper is being bug free, but I don't agree. And so for the test plan, a revision history, always important. The document goals, who it's for, the project description, testing objectives, roles and responsibilities, what your scope is, your methodology with your requirements, your entry/exit criteria, your methods, your exit criteria again if it's something different, your results with your deliverables. That's important. Like you're gonna deliver a test plan, you're gonna deliver a professional debriefing, because I've heard test plan and test report quite a lot, but not test as debriefing. I always take the time 30 minutes to go through the report with my client, so I'm sure they understand what I'm saying in there. And then of course the tools that you've used and a glossary possibly as well. That's what I would put in those things. And of course, you guys can fill them in. I'll tweet about those as well, tweet about them, because of course it's been hard to write down. I talk quite fast. And I would like to welcome Anush to the stage. Hello, my friend. Or should I say Elon Musk?
How to run a YouTube channel for cybersecurity?
Sorry, can you repeat that, please?
How to grow a cybersecurity channel on YouTube?
You're sounding very quiet. I'm hearing something about cybersecurity, but that last part is cutting out.
How to grow cybersecurity?
How to prove your cybersecurity skills?
How to grow your cybersecurity YouTube channel?
Sorry, can you repeat that one last time, please?
How to grow your YouTube channel about cybersecurity?
How to grow your YouTube channel about cybersecurity. Am I understanding that right?
Yes, yeah, that was the question.
Awesome, thanks. Sorry about that. My phone is a little bit iffy on the speaker sometimes. Well, growing a YouTube channel about anything is, I use the spaghetti method. I throw spaghetti at the wall and I see what sticks. You might have seen on my YouTube channel that I put out a video almost daily. And I do that because I want to see what sticks with the audience and what doesn't. And I also, to be honest, I don't really care. I don't really give a crap about the YouTube algorithm. I just do what I want. Recently, I've uploaded a 1 hour or something theme park vlog to my channel, which is a hacking channel. I really don't care about the YouTube algorithm. I just want to do my thing. And for me, that's something that's very important as well, because returning to a YouTube channel is also returning to a personality. Like, for example, you guys know me. I love everybody and I really like everyone. And that's kind of my personality. That's my thing. I really love you guys, and other people, they are very lovable as well. Like I used to watch these people, these Minecraft YouTubers, Simon and I don't remember their names, but they were really funny together and they were really likable. So I think a YouTube channel is mostly about the creator itself as well, not just about the content. And I think Brian can attest to that a little bit as well, because Brian, you're putting a lot of humor into your movies, and I think it's helping you quite a lot, right?
Yeah, it is. It's really kind of prevents me from feeling like stiff when I'm doing like a video and whatnot. I try to like just add humor to it, so it's not like super serious type of a thing.
I think that's always important. And I think it's
Hello.
important that you identify yourself and that you learn who you are and who you want to be.
By the way, how much revenue do you earn per 1,000 views?
I gotta call this one. Anuj is like a 4-day-old account and has no posts. I'm thinking this is a prank.
Oh, that's possible. That's possible.
No, no, sorry, I'm learning cybersecurity and
But I think the tips are still pretty valid. Like, if you really want to grow a YouTube channel or any channel whatsoever, just try things. Don't hold back and just do it. Like, don't let anything stop you. There's
by the way, how much do you earn revenue by 1,000 views?
Sorry?
How much revenue do you earn on per 1,000 views on YouTube?
How much do I earn per 1,000 views? It's not a lot at all. It's maybe €3, maybe €2 per 1,000 views. I can get my analytics real quick, but I get about 10,000 views per month, and that makes me about $30, I think. So it's not a big, yeah, definitely not that big. I get about 22,000 views per month, and it makes me $40. So that's about $2 per 1,000 views. That's
Thanks.
Thank you for those questions. I really like them because, like, for me, YouTube is more like a platform to gather an audience and to, for everything, I do what I want, and that kind of sounds egocentric and kind of like, oh, he can do whatever he wants. He has the luxury. No, I just do it. I don't have the luxury. I do what I think is right. And sometimes that means doing bad things. Like my mom, she really doesn't believe in, for example, some of the things that I do. And I'm not gonna elaborate too much on them, but I straight up confront her about it and tell her I'm an adult. I do what I do. It's just that simple. And it's not easy because mom got angry at me for doing that. And it's okay. I do what I think is right. And I think you should do the same thing. Whatever you think is right, I think you should do it. But I think you should do it and not think about doing it. Because the hardest thing about doing something is getting started. And the moment you put yourself over that threshold of, hey, I'm just gonna do it, that's the moment where you're gonna be very happy with yourself. That's the moment where you're gonna write full 2 full notebooks full of notes, and you're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna put this online, gonna put this in video, gonna put this in course. So thanks for those questions. I hope those answers helped. I don't really have anything to add, to be honest. One thing, I'm gonna make a little bit more advertisement. I also have a new product launched. It's a pen testing assignment, which I'm gonna try to emulate the full pen testing assignment with you guys from A to Z. And I'm gonna help you in every step of the way by providing you with templates and all of that stuff that you can fill in. You will have to sign NDAs, you will have to sign test plans and all of that stuff. So it's gonna be fun. I look forward to that. If you're interested, look at one of my recent tweets. Sorry about my crap posting so much. I don't know if anybody else has anything to say. Now would be the time, I guess.
Don't forget about your boot camp as well. I signed up for that as well as getting the A to Z course, A to Z course.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. The bootcamp includes every single course. So right now I'm also working on 2 different new courses. One is securing your code, where I look at PHP examples of vulnerabilities and I make you build them on my server, and then I'm gonna make you hack your own creation and secure it. So that's gonna be in there soon. And then I'm also going to be adding to the OWASP IoT because sorry, the OWASP top 10, because I need to add the IoT top 10. And there was another top 10 that I really wanted to add. By the way, the top 10 also includes the 2021 version, and like I said, it's a lot clearer. There are labs as well available on the OWASP API top 10 on my training page. And the OWASP API top 10 has been reviewed by somebody from OWASP as well, from a volunteer. Michael Remington, I think is his name. RM is his Twitter handle. He got amazing guy. I still have to put a few more things in place to get that better, but stellar guy, really stellar guy. So thank you very much, everybody, for being here. I really appreciate every single one of you's attention. This has gone on for over 2 hours, and I know some of you have been in here for 2 hours. So my hat is off to you, and I raise my cheese to you. Great health. I wish you 1,000, 1,000,000 bug bounties, and I hope I will see you in the next space.